Hey, what is up guys, I'm KBHD here, and today we're going to be talking Samsung Galaxy S5, the inevitable successor to the oh-so-popular Samsung Galaxy S4. So whenever we see a new phone in Samsung's Galaxy S lineup or Galaxy Note lineup, they tend to bounce off each other in terms of where they get their design cues from. So the Galaxy S5, I'm expecting a phone very similar to the Galaxy Note 3 that we have now. So let's go ahead and check out these specs. First of all, the backing material that we see on the Galaxy Note 3, this leatherette sort of soft touch back, that's made its way through the entire Samsung phone and tablet lineup, and I don't think there will be any exception with the Galaxy S5. I'm expecting to also see that here to complete the entire look. Also, the sides of the Galaxy Note 3, also, if you've seen the review, have this sort of metal sort of band around it that I guess make it feel more premium, or at least Samsung wants you to feel that it feels more premium. So I'm expecting also to see that on the Galaxy S5. So it'll feel kind of like a shrunken down Galaxy S5 into a slightly smaller body, but again with the premium specs that we expect out of a flagship. And with those premium specs, the number one thing that is probably most locked in is the new camera on the Galaxy S5, and that's expected to be a 16 megapixel camera. And along with that new resolution, I would also expect it to be able to shoot 4K video just like the Galaxy Note 3 can. Around the front, there is a 50-50 shot, a pair of rumors, a scenario 1 and a scenario 2 that we could see with the way the front of this phone looks. So the Galaxy S5 could either rock case number 1, a 5-inch 1080p display, again, maybe 5.2-inch, but again, not upping the resolution or particularly anything crazy, going fairly conservative with the upgrade. Case number 2 would be a slightly larger, maybe 5.2 to 5.4 inch 2560 by 1440 display. So going with QHD 2K display and particularly upping the ante in terms of resolution and DPI. Now, a lot of the benchmarks that we've actually seen that have leaked apparently from the Galaxy S5 seem to indicate that case number 1 is much more likely. I'd give it 65-75% chance of seeing another 1080p display in the Galaxy S5. It's not set in stone, it's not 100%, but we're seeing 480 ppi, we're seeing 5.0 inch display, and we're seeing 1920 by 1080. These benchmarks are also indicating that we're going to see another Snapdragon 800 chip, not the 805, but a slightly upgraded, more powerful version of the Snapdragon 800 chip, which is still a great chip, obviously. This was the Antutu benchmark that we saw leaked, and it was still scoring above the Galaxy Note 3 and above the Sony Xperia Z Ultra. So if it's benchmarking above these high-end phones, I don't think it'll have any problems with performance. We're also seeing 2 gigabytes of RAM, and that should be more than enough to push those 1920 by 1080 pixels. It'll also be running Android 4.4.2 KitKat out the box. Right now, that is the most current version of Android, and maybe when it launches 2 weeks later, there will be a newer version of Android, and we'll have to wait for those features. But at launch, it'll have the newest version of TouchWiz on top of Android 4.4.2 KitKat. So overall, it's seeming like a relatively incremental, or it's not a revolutionary phone, but it's an incremental upgrade from the Galaxy S4, a pretty safe bet for Samsung to sell a lot of them again. But there are some other slightly less likely, slightly more far-fetched rumors. I might as well address them because they're out there and people are talking about them, but I don't necessarily believe any of these are particularly likely. Number one being ditching the physical buttons. Samsung is pretty much locked into their physical home button and capacitive back and menu buttons on their phones and tablets, and I don't expect this to go anywhere anytime soon, unlike another phone that I'm going to talk about. And also, we're hearing rumors of a possible 128 gigabyte version of the Galaxy S5. That would actually be awesome. I would love to see a 128 gig version of any phone. The iPhone hasn't had one, no Android phone has had one, no Windows phone has had a 128 gig version. So I'd love to see that. We've also heard rumors of a retina scanner or a fingerprint scanner. Fingerprint scanner being the obvious copy of the iPhone 5S and its Touch ID system. I don't really expect to see that. That's just not something that Android phones have gotten down packed, and Samsung doesn't take quite that extreme risks with their phones. And also a retina scanner being something that scans your iris or your eye or retina and looks at your eye to lock you or log you into your phone. I don't think that's going to happen. Samsung has enough problems already with their current eye tracking system just to tell if you're looking at the phone or not. So I can't imagine it having that much more advancements in order to be able to tell whose eye is looking at the phone. So I would put these rumors at like the 5%. Probably not going to happen category. So overall, there's really nothing particularly stunning here with these new rumors, but it's still going to be interesting to see a new phone with the new design. Again, I like the Galaxy Note 3, so I'd like to see a shrunken down version of it. Also, we have to remember that even though the specs seem like a small incremental upgrade, Android 4.4 KitKat has way lower system requirements and is better optimized to take advantage of lesser specs. So even though it has a similar CPU and the Adreno 330 GPU, it still should be able to perform better than it does now on Android 4.3 because of the improvements to KitKat. Either way, I'm sure pretty much all the rest of the details of this phone are going to be leaked sooner or later before the phone is actually announced, because it's 2014 and everything leaks at this point. But there is a Samsung Unpacked event on February 24th, and all the systems seem to point toward that being the place where we first see the new Samsung Galaxy S5. So I will be there, and I hope maybe we'll see an updated wearable companion, perhaps a new Galaxy Gear at that event as well. A little bit less likely, but I'm really focused on the phone here. So either way, that's been it. If you're not really into the Samsung Galaxy lineup, if you're more into the HTC One perhaps, I have also uploaded a video today, it's linked below that like button, going over the potential successor to the HTC One. So if you want to check that out, that was also uploaded today. Definitely don't miss that. And other than that, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.